We see it pretty regularly. Compliance with armed robbers does not guarantee your safety. Hi everyone, this is John with today's active self-protection lesson out of Selma, Alabama. It's going to teach us some important lessons as we see this armed robbery go on, about being a bystander and what you should do when you're a bystander, about compliance with armed robbers, and about using the opportunities that you have to make yourself safer. Just another day at this Family Dollar store here. You see these couple customers have just finished their purchase and they're walking out. This guy comes up in the green pants and he's ready. And two armed robbers come in. One is armed with a long gun, one is armed with a handgun. And the guy with the white sheet over his head or t-shirt or whatever is armed with a long gun. And now the armed robbery is on. And this gal's having a hard time getting into the register. And the guy with the long gun's really not having it. And you see him not have it by hitting her in the head with that gun. Now he's going to look around some more, and obviously she knows that he at least is serious, so she calls the manager, and the manager is going to get in to the registers, thankfully. And you see this go on. I've sped this up just for the sake of time. It went on for several minutes if you watched it in real time, and she's going to get to this other register here. You see this customer that was at the register when they started the armed robbery is kind of crouching behind this other one. They finally get in there and get all the cash out of there, and this guy's going to grab all this cash up, stuff it in his pockets, get the stuff off the floor, and run off. And thankfully, this one ends without any serious injuries. Now, if you go to our website, there's a link in the description. There are 8 lessons there. I want to talk about some significant ones here. First one is that armed robberies start on regular days. You know, you're not anticipating these things happening in a moment, and then they come kind of out of the blue from nowhere. And you can see these customers are just walking, and this transitional space here of, you know, this dollar store is what gets them. You can see they got bars on the wall, you know, on the windows rather. And so they're ready for this, but look at the danger that we're facing here. You got 2 armed robbers, one armed with a handgun, one armed with a long gun, and at multiple distances. This is about as bad as it gets for a self-defender. Now, you can see this gal, and she wants to comply, but she doesn't have the ability to get into the register. And so he hits her right in the head with that. Now, of course, this is terrible and heinous for him to do that, but it also tells us as defenders or as somebody who might be the victim of violent crime that he doesn't want to shoot her. He's trying to intimidate her with that gun and not shoot her with it. So that actually gives just a little bit of reassurance through the pain of getting hit in the head. Now, thankfully, the manager comes over here and she does know how to get into the register. So we see that first armed robber leave. And I want to talk about this guy who's crouched down here. If he was a self-defender, if he was armed, he had opportunity here, plenty of opportunities when they are not paying attention to him to draw a firearm from concealment and to get after this guy. But he didn't have that, and so he didn't, and so they complied. And compliance is an okay strategy in these instances. Now, of course, compliance doesn't guarantee your safety, but thankfully in this instance, the guy ran off. So what do we learn here? We learn necessarily to be aware that these things come, and they come in a hurry. Number 2, how to get your register open if you work in one of these kind of situations. Number 3, if you are a bystander and you can't get out of the danger zone, you might be able to use those opportunities to launch a counter ambush to cover your ass.